I used to believe love was unshakable, that when someone said, "I love you," it meant something permanent, something sacred. For years, I lived with the comfort of those words, until the night I discovered they were nothing more than a disguise. It wasn't a stranger who broke me. It wasn't even just her. It was him, the one person I trusted almost as much as I trusted her, my best friend, the guy who we'd been together for 4 years when it happened. 4 years of birthdays, holidays, lazy Sundays, and all the little moments that make you believe you've found your forever. She was the first person I called when I had good news, and the one who sat with me in silence when life got heavy. My best friend, Ryan, had been in my life even longer, since middle school. We'd been through everything together, scraped knees, late night study sessions, first heartbreaks. If anyone knew me inside and out, it was him. I trusted him like a brother. The three of us formed this strange little trio. She would laugh at his jokes, he'd tease her like he was teasing me, and I'd just smile, grateful that the two most important people in my life got along so well. I thought it was perfect. I thought I was lucky. But little did I know, perfection was just the mask betrayal wears before it stabs you in the back. It started small, so small I didn't notice. A longer laugh when he said something that wasn't even that funny. A glance that lingered a little too long when they thought I wasn't looking. But I brushed it off. Why wouldn't I? They were friends, just like I wanted them to be. One night, we were all sitting in my apartment, sharing pizza and a couple of beers. I went to the kitchen to grab napkins, and when I came back, I caught the tail end of her smile, the kind of smile I thought she only saved for me. Ryan's eyes dropped quickly, as if he'd been caught doing something wrong. I ignored the knot in my stomach, told myself I was imagining things, that I was paranoid. She loved me. She told me she did. And Ryan, he was like my brother. Why would either of them cross that line? But the truth has a way of dripping into your life like water through a crack in the ceiling. At first, it's just a spot, then a stain, and before you know it, the whole roof caves in. The real shift happened the night I couldn't make it to Ryan's birthday. Work had buried me under deadlines, and I told them both to go without me, promising I'd make it up later. I should have known better. When I got home past midnight, the apartment was quiet, too quiet. Her phone was on the counter, buzzing with notifications. That wasn't like her. She never left it unattended. I picked it up, not out of mistrust, but instinct, and that's when I saw it. A message from Ryan, just 4 words, "Had a great time." But it was her reply that broke something deep inside me. Me too, maybe too much. My chest tightened, my throat dry. A dozen questions ran through my mind, each one sharper than the last. What did she mean? Was I overthinking? Was I twisting innocent words into something darker? I wanted to believe there was another explanation, that maybe it was just bad wording, an inside joke. But deep down, a part of me already knew the storm had started, and there was no stopping it now. The next morning, I couldn't shake it. I watched her move around the kitchen like everything was normal. Hair tied up, humming softly, pouring coffee into my favorite mug. But when I looked at her, all I saw was that text. Those words repeating like an echo I couldn't escape. I tried to sound casual, but my voice betrayed me. "So, how was Ryan's party?" She paused, her back still to me, just for a second, but I caught it. That hesitation. Then she turned, smiling too quickly. "It was fun. You know how he is, always the center of attention." Her words were smooth, but her eyes were different. They dotted, avoided, softened in ways that weren't hers anymore. And Ryan, he didn't even mention the party when I saw him later that week. He barely looked at me, like he was guilty of something, or maybe I was imagining it. Still, the air between us wasn't the same. It felt heavier, thicker, like a secret lived there, breathing between the three of us, and I was the only one left in the dark. That night, lying beside her, I realized something terrifying. The woman I thought I knew inside and out was suddenly a stranger. I told myself I was overthinking, that love, real love, couldn't just disappear overnight, but doubt has a way of sinking into your bones. It whispers when you're quiet, gnaws at you when you're busy, and leaves you wide awake when the rest of the world is asleep. So I started paying attention to her late night texts she suddenly shielded from my view, to the way she lingered in the shower longer than she used to the laughter that slipped out when her phone buzzed, laughter that wasn't meant for me. The pieces began to fit together, though I wished they didn't. One evening, I noticed she had left her phone charging on the counter. Normally, she guarded it like it contained state secrets. My chest tightened as I picked it up, every part of me screaming that I shouldn't look, that if I crossed this line, nothing would be the same. But curiosity and fear were louder. The screen lit up with a string of messages from Ryan, my best friend, and in that instant, the truth I'd been avoiding was no longer avoidable. The messages burned into my eyes. I scrolled through line after line, each word cutting deeper than the last. Last night was amazing. I can't stop thinking about you. When can we do it again? Her replies were worse. She wasn't resisting. She wasn't confused. She was participating. I miss your hands. You make me feel alive. Soon I'll find a way. My breath caught in my throat. My chest felt tight, like the walls were closing in. This wasn't just flirting. This wasn't harmless. This was real. The woman I loved, the one who said she'd stand by me forever, was sneaking behind my back with the one person I trusted like a brother. And then I saw the photo. A picture of her, smiling in the dim light, lying in a bed that wasn't ours, Ryan's bed. The ground beneath me seemed to split open. My knees felt weak. I set the phone down, afraid I'd crush it in my hand. That night I didn't sleep. I just sat there in the dark, listening to her breathing beside me, wondering how long she'd been lying. Morning came, but it didn't feel like morning. The sun rose outside, but for me everything was dark, heavy, and bitter. She stirred beside me, yawning, stretching like nothing was wrong, like she hadn't just shattered my world. I watched her silently, every movement calculated in my head. Should I say something now? Should I throw the truth in her face? Or should I wait and confront Ryan first? She kissed my cheek before getting out of bed. "I'll make us coffee," she said casually, as though those texts didn't exist. I sat there, my fists clenched in the sheets. Every fiber of me wanted to explode, but something inside whispered, "Not yet." I needed to hear it from him. I needed to see the guilt in his eyes. So later that day, I texted Ryan, "Need to talk, just us." We met at a small bar we used to frequent, the kind of place where our history was etched into the walls. He showed up, flashing that easy grin I had always trusted. But as soon as I looked into his eyes, I saw it. The flicker, the shadow, he knew what he had done. "Hey, man," he said, sliding into the booth. "What's up?" I leaned forward, my voice low and shaking. "How long, Ryan? Don't lie to me. How long have you been sleeping with her?" The grin slipped from his face. His jaw tightened, and just like that, silence filled the space between us, thicker than smoke. Ryan's silence was deafening. He rubbed the back of his neck, his eyes darting anywhere but mine. That was all the answer I needed, but I wasn't going to let him slip away without saying it. "Say it," I demanded, my voice sharper now. "Look me in the eyes and admit what you did." Finally, he exhaled, his shoulders slumping like a man carrying too much weight. "It just happened," he muttered. "I didn't mean for it to, I swear. One night we were drinking and stop. My hand slammed against the table so hard that a couple of heads turned our way. Don't you dare feed me that excuse. You don't trip and fall into someone's bed, Ryan. You don't accidentally betray the one person who trusted you most. He flinched, but still tried to reason with me. It wasn't supposed to mean anything. She came to me. She said things about you, about how distant you'd become. I was stupid enough to listen. Every word felt like a knife, not because I believed him, but because I couldn't believe her. She had dragged my name into this. My marriage, our marriage, wasn't perfect, but to use me as the excuse for what they did, that was another betrayal entirely. I leaned across the table, my voice steady but full of rage. You were my best friend, Ryan, my brother, and you threw it all away for what, some fleeting thrill? Do you even understand what you've destroyed? His eyes glistened, but no apology could erase what was already carved into stone. In that moment, I knew nothing would ever be the same again. When I walked back into the house, she was curled up on the couch, scrolling through her phone like nothing had happened. My stomach churned at the sight of her acting so casual, so normal. I stood there for a moment, just staring, waiting for her to feel my presence. When she finally looked up, her smile faltered. She knew, she could see it in my face. What's wrong? She asked softly, her voice laced with guilt she couldn't hide. I didn't sit down. I didn't soften. Ryan told me everything. Her phone slipped from her hands and landed on the cushion beside her. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out, just silence, the kind of silence that confirms everything. So it's true, I said, my voice shaking, not from doubt, but from the storm inside me. You stood in front of me, told me you loved me, made me believe I was your everything, while you were sleeping with him. Tears welled in her eyes, but I didn't let them move me. Not this time. It was a mistake. She whispered, I swear to you, it wasn't about love. It was stupid, and I regret it every second of every day. A mistake? I snapped. A mistake is forgetting to lock the door or misplacing your keys. What you did, what you both did, was a choice. Every single time it was a choice. Her hands trembled as she reached for me, but I stepped back. For the first time in years, I looked at her not as my wife, not as the person I thought I knew, but as a stranger who had been living in my home under the mask of loyalty. You didn't just break my heart, I said, my voice dropping to a whisper. You buried it. She sobbed then, burying her face in her hands, but all I could feel was the emptiness that betrayal leaves behind. She lifted her head, mascara streaked across her cheeks, and for the first time in our marriage, I didn't recognize her eyes. They weren't the eyes of the woman who used to laugh with me late at night or dream with me about the future. These eyes were full of panic, scrambling to fix something that was already shattered. I didn't mean for it to happen, she said, her voice raw. It was after one of those fights we had, you remember. I felt alone. Ryan was just there, and I was weak. I swear, I never stopped loving you. I laughed bitterly. The sound startled even me. You never stopped loving me. You loved me while you were in his bed. She flinched. It wasn't like that. I thought it would make me feel better, but it only made me realize how much I wanted us. You're the one I want. I made a horrible mistake. Her words twisted like a knife. She was trying to patch the hole she had torn through my chest with promises that meant nothing now. You want me to believe this was about loneliness? I asked. You could have talked to me, yelled at me, cried. Hell, you could have walked out if you were that unhappy. But you didn't. You chose him, my best friend. Do you understand what that means? You didn't just betray me. You destroyed 2 relationships in one blow. Her lips quivered as she whispered, I thought you'd leave me if I told you. I thought I'd lose everything. I was scared. I shook my head. You should have been scared the moment you crossed that line, because the truth always comes out, and now here we are." The room was heavy with her sobs and my silence. Every word between us was another nail in the coffin of what we once had. She reached out, her fingers trembling as if touching me could somehow erase what she had done. I pulled back, and the rejection made her crumble further. "I'll do anything," she pleaded, her voice desperate and broken. "Therapy, counseling, whatever it takes. I'll cut him off completely. I'll never see him again. Please don't leave me. You're my whole world." Her words bounced off me like dull echoes. I wanted them to mean something, but they didn't. They sounded less like love and more like fear of being alone. "You're only sorry because you got caught," I said coldly. "If I hadn't found out, would you still be sneaking behind my back? Would you still be lying to my face while telling me you love me?" She shook her head violently. "No, no, it was a mistake, a one-time thing. It didn't mean anything. I swear to you, it was nothing compared to what we have." "Nothing," I repeated, my chest tight. "You threw away years of marriage for nothing. You risked everything for something that meant nothing." Her sobs grew louder, but I couldn't feel pity, not anymore. Not after the images burned in my mind. Her body with his, their betrayal. I can't unsee it. I whispered almost to myself, "Every time I look at you now, I'll see him. Every time I hear you say you love me, I'll wonder if you said it to him too. How do you expect us to survive that?" She dropped to her knees on the floor, clutching my hands, tears soaking her face. "Because I love you, because you're my husband. I'll spend the rest of my life proving it to you. Please, please don't walk away." Her desperation filled the room, but inside me, something was already breaking free. Something that no amount of begging could chain back down. I sat there, staring at her, my mind torn apart by two voices battling inside me. One screamed at me to walk away, to pack my bags and leave her crying on the floor. The other whispered that maybe, just maybe, love could be stronger than betrayal. We had history, we had memories, we had built a life together. I thought about the vacations, the late night talks, the moments when she had been my anchor. Could all of that really be erased by one night of weakness? But then, just as quickly, Ryan's face flashed in my mind. His hand on her, the betrayal in his smile, the way he had been standing too close to her in recent months, and I had ignored it. Rage surged back like a wildfire. "You say it meant nothing," I said slowly, my voice low. "But you let him touch you. You let him kiss you. You let him have what was mine. That doesn't happen if it means nothing." She shook her head, choking on her sobs. "I was weak. I was stupid. I thought it would never come out. But I swear on everything. I love you. I'll never forgive myself if I lose you. Don't let one mistake define us." Her words were like poison and medicine at the same time. They hurt, but a part of me wanted to believe them. I wanted to believe she was still the woman I had fallen in love with, the woman who once looked at me like I was the only man in the world. But trust was gone, and without trust, what was left? I don't know if I can ever look at you the same. I admitted, my chest tightening. I don't know if I can live every day wondering if there's another secret, if there's another lie waiting for me to find. She reached for me again, desperate. "Then let me prove it. Give me the chance. Don't throw us away without trying." I pulled my hands back from hers, my body trembling. My heart was still torn, but one thing was becoming clear. I couldn't carry this weight alone. "I need time," I finally said, standing up, "and I need answers from him." Her eyes widened in panic, but I didn't wait. I walked out the door, each step fueled by the rage and betrayal burning inside me. It was time Ryan and I had a conversation. I drove to Ryan's place with my hands gripping the steering wheel so tightly my knuckles turned white. The night air outside was calm, but inside me there was a storm. Anger, betrayal, disbelief, all colliding into one violent current. When I pulled up to his apartment, I sat there for a moment, staring at his door. My heart pounded in my chest, my mind running through what I was about to do. This was my best friend, the man who'd been at my side since high school, the one who'd been my brother in everything that mattered, and yet he had done the one thing I never thought possible. I knocked hard. When he opened the door, he looked surprised, then guilty, just for a split second. That split second told me everything. "Hey, man, what's going on?" he said, forcing a casual tone, but his eyes darted away. "Don't," I snapped, stepping forward so fast he had to back up into his own apartment. "Don't act like you don't know why I'm here." His jaw tightened. He rubbed the back of his neck, suddenly nervous. "Listen, it wasn't supposed to happen like that." I felt my fists clench. My chest heaved with rage. "You slept with her, my wife, the woman you knew I loved more than anything. You, my best friend, looked me in the eye all this time, knowing what you did." He tried to speak, but I cut him off. "Do you even understand what you've destroyed?" Ryan lowered his gaze, his voice quieter now. "I messed up. I won't make excuses. We were drinking. One thing led to another. And it just happened. Just happened." I repeated, my voice shaking with fury. "You don't just fall into bed with your best friend's wife, Ryan. That's not an accident. That's betrayal. That's a choice." He finally looked up, his face twisted with shame. "I regret it every damn day, but I can't take it back." My throat burned with the urge to scream. I wanted to hit him, to make him feel just a fraction of the pain he'd caused. But more than that, I wanted to understand why. "You had everything," I said, my voice raw. "Our friendship, my trust, my respect. And you threw it away for what? One night. Was it worth it?" Ryan's lips trembled, and for the first time I saw him as small, pathetic even. He shook his head slowly. "No, it wasn't worth it. I lost my best friend." For a moment, silence filled the room. My chest heaved as I fought to control the storm inside me. The truth was out. The betrayal was real. And nothing would ever be the same again. The silence between us grew heavier by the second. I could feel my pulse thundering in my ears, every muscle in my body coiled tight, ready to snap. Ryan stood there, guilt written all over his face, but guilt didn't erase what he had done. Something inside me broke. My hands trembled as I took a step toward him, my voice low but shaking with fury. "You didn't just lose a friend, Ryan. You killed a brotherhood. You killed us." His mouth opened like he wanted to explain, to justify, but I didn't give him the chance. My fist flew before I could stop myself. It connected with his jaw, and the sickening thud echoed through his apartment. He stumbled back, clutching his face, his eyes wide with shock. "Damn it, man," he shouted, but it was weak, defensive. He didn't swing back. He didn't fight. Maybe he knew he deserved it. I grabbed him by the shirt, slamming him against the wall. "You had my back for years. You stood beside me at my wedding. You toasted to my happiness, and all the while you were waiting for a chance to stab me in it. You betrayed me in the one way I never thought possible." Tears stung my eyes, but they weren't for him. They were for me, for the years of loyalty I had poured into someone who proved unworthy of it. Ryan's voice cracked. "I'm sorry. I swear I'm sorry." I shoved him away, breathing hard, shaking from the adrenaline and pain. "Sorry doesn't undo it. Sorry doesn't erase the image of you with her. Sorry doesn't put my trust back together." He hung his head, silent, defeated. In that moment, I realized hitting him hadn't given me the closure I wanted. It hadn't dulled the ache in my chest. If anything, it made the betrayal feel even more real, more final. I stepped back toward the door, my voice hoarse. "We're done, Ryan. Don't ever call me. Don't ever show up. As far as I'm concerned, you don't exist anymore." The words felt like shards of glass leaving my throat, but I knew they were true. I turned and walked out, the weight of shattered trust pressing down on me with every step. When the door shut behind me, I felt like I was walking away from more than a friend. I was walking away from years of brotherhood, laughter, and shared history, all gone in one cruel, irreversible act.